Today, Dave and his expert guests show how to make towing much safer and much easier, how to touch up your car's paint, and how to have an authentic looking stereo with Bluetooth and other modern technologies. Coming up on Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com.
Motorhead Garage, the program that each week introduces you to and shows you how to install the latest in exciting and innovative products for your vehicle. Now here's your host, Dave Dobson.
Hey there, this is Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com. You see a lot of trailers out there, cargo trailers, RVs, that sort of thing. Mike, it's not as simple as it looks. There's a lot of variables to it, a lot of things that can go wrong. And by the way, we're going to tell you how you can fix all these as well. Mike, what are some of the things that can go wrong when you're towing and some of the variables you got to worry about?
Well, one of the most common things is trailer sway. So if your trailer isn't balanced correctly, you can get some instabilities there, and could lead to the rollover of the trailer and perhaps the tow vehicle too.
And what are some things about balance we need to know? You throw out the term balance, but specifically, how do you balance a trailer?
So what we need to do is make sure the majority of the weight is in front of the rear axle. So the manufacturer builds most of these trailers with the axles towards the rear, and what they're trying to do is to encourage you to make sure that they're loaded towards the front, so that you have and if you do that right, you'll have the optimum tongue weight, and the vehicle will be stable going down the road.
How do people measure those things? And a lot of it's folks guessing.
Yeah, there's two parts where people are guessing. First off, what's the optimum tongue weight? And then the next part is, what is it? So sometimes there's bathroom scales and things like that, but lots of this, truth be told, people are guessing.
And the first solution you came up with is an app on the Google Play Store. It's a free app that folks can get. Also at the Apple App Store too.
Yes, yeah, free app called GVWR, and we've developed a simple 1, 2, 3-step process, really powerful enough for the pros, but also accessible by the novice. So really, it'll step you through, help you make sure that you've got your trailer loaded correctly, that you're within the payload capacity of your vehicle. You have the combination right as well. So really all the things you need to be safe and confident on your next towing adventure.
And what information do I need then to put into the app, and where do I find it?
So the app will walk you through it. Most of it is right on the vehicle. So inside your tow vehicle in the door jamb, there's a tire loading sticker that helps you find your payload. Also, the VIN sticker has the gross vehicle weight rating. That's what GVWR stands for. And then your trailer also has decals to let you know, again, the payload capacity and the gross vehicle weight rating.
You've come up with this really clever tool. This is called the haul gauge. And how does it work?
Well, this device plugs into the onboard diagnostic port of your vehicle, so just under your dash. It's got some sensors on board, and also it's pulling some information from your vehicle.
And what kind of information does it get, and how does it use it?
So to get the tongue weight and some other what we call the pitch features, it's using the onboard accelerometer to measure the pitch change of your vehicle. So it's very sensitive, and when you put weight in the bed or on the coupler, you're going to see that the vehicle starts to squat just a little bit. We can sense that with this device, and so it communicates to the app to tell what the weight is. It also picks up the VIN and uses a database that we have, so it knows how stiff the suspension is on the vehicle.
So I have all that information through GVWR and through my haul gauge. How do I know what to do about it?
So haul gauge will help you make the measurements. GVWR helps you with the context and the rest of that. And so the GVWR app will give you all the directions. If you're light, it'll inform you on the tongue weight. It'll inform you to take weight from the back of the trailer and put it to the front. It's going to tell if you're overloaded, if you're safe to drive.
Of course, the tongue weight is really important when you're towing something, but the haul gauge can show us a whole lot more. What other kind of details can we get from the haul gauge?
Yeah, there's 6 features there. It can calculate the total weight of the vehicle, so the combined weight. Also payload, if you're doing a gooseneck trailer or fifth wheel. Also your trailer brake gain. And then also it'll help you set up a weight distribution hitch. So really anything that's related to towing, again, to help you to be safe and have confidence on your next towing adventure.
Well, he nailed it. You want to be safe, you want to be confident when you're on the road, and this is a super simple way, and it's a really affordable way to do all of that. You can find it at hallgauge.com. We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com, so don't go anywhere.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com, is brought to you by Amsoil, the first in synthetics, Campbell's Custom Care, your detail specialist, and by Rhino Rack, make space for adventure.
This is Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com, and this is a 1964 Impala SS right at the dawn of the muscle car era. And you could get a car like this with one of 7 different engines, including the famous 409 that the Beach Boys told us all about. But this is cool. It's a 327 with a 4 on the floor, super hard to find. In 1964, good music was not so hard to find. You had the Supremes, you had the Rolling Stones making hits, and of course you had this little combo out of Liverpool, the Fab Four, making some pretty good music too. The problem was, if you wanted to take that great music with you in the car, the experience was not so great. Usually one speaker on the dash, maybe one on the rear deck. And if you upgraded, you got one in each door, if you were lucky, and if you were rich. Most of the music was coming at you on an AM station, and the sound was, well, let's face it, it was lousy. So these days, when you're restoring or upgrading your classic car, you want to enjoy the experience. And a lot of folks are adding air conditioning, disc brakes, even a new chassis to their cars. And of course, they want their music and their Bluetooth just like they have in their car today. And to get that, you need a modern stereo, but you've seen how an old car looks with a new stereo. It's modern looking stereo and it's got all the lights and everything, and it's totally out of place on that vintage dash. But thanks to Custom Autosound, you can honor the integrity of your car's vintage looks, and you can have all the bells and whistles of a brand new high-end radio. Custom Autosound has head units and speakers that sound amazing, and they look just like the original radios that came from your car when it was brand new. And with the Custom Autosound radio, you can have Bluetooth, you can have your MP3 player, satellite radio, and even hook up a CD player as well. This is not a generic radio made to look cool. These are high quality units that are durable and they're made to last. Now, first of all, Custom Autosound's radios and speakers are made at the same factories that make some of the world's finest audio equipment. And every Custom Autosound model undergoes extreme temperature testing, a temperature aging test, and of course the ever important vibration test, because the more power you're making, the more you are shaking. And you need a radio that's going to survive those kind of conditions. So every single Custom Autosound radio is hand inspected and adjusted by a technician before it gets shipped to the customer or to the dealer. Custom Autosound has a huge variety of radios and speakers to fit your budget and made to specifically fit your vehicle. In fact, they have 4 different models of in-dash radios, including the slide bar radio. This is cool. With the slide bar radio, you get a radio that looks just like an old analog radio when it's turned off. And when you slide the bar and turn it on, you get a digital display that lets you control every function of your radio. If you have a street rod or a classic and you want to leave the original radio in the dash but still get great sound and modern features, the Secret Audio Radio is for you. Check this out. The unit hides usually under a seat or behind the dashboard, and you get your Bluetooth, your AM/FM radio, iPod control, CD control, and it integrates perfectly with your speaker system. And oh, by the way, speakers, yep, Custom Autosound speakers are great too. From subwoofers to kick panels, to door-mounted speakers, to universal speakers, even speakers that secretly hide away under a seat or somewhere under the dash, Custom Autosound has you covered there too. Everything from Custom Autosound is made to sound great, it's made to last, and of course, it's made to look just like it came with your classic vehicle back when it was new. And when it comes to installation, Custom Autosound has thought of everything. First of all, you got to make sure you disconnect your car's battery whenever you're messing with the vehicle's electrical system, or you might get a little jolt, kind of unpleasant. Now, once the old radio is out, it's time to get to work, and Custom Autosound makes that easy. All of the connections are color-coded and they're labeled. Wiring harnesses, Bluetooth connections, aux cables, speaker outputs, power cables, even the power antenna cable, that is labeled too. It's literally just plug and play once it's time to put it in. Now, getting into the dash is always a little bit tricky, but it's nothing a little patience can't overcome, so go slowly. First, you make all of your connections, and again, they are color-coded and labeled, so that makes it simple. In this Impala, our build team had an easy job. They were actually able to slide it up underneath the dash. There was no factory air or anything to get around there, so that's a good thing. It might take some wiggling, and you might have to finagle it a bit, but once you get the radio in there, you can run a few nuts down on the posts, That'll lock the unit into place. And of course, the kit includes some washers in case you need those as well for spacing. So you got your nuts, washers, and then the knobs, and those look period correct for your particular car, and you are ready to rock and roll. And this radio looks great in this Impala, and you'll find one that looks perfect in your vehicle too, because Custom Autosound makes radios for 400 different models of cars. Do not compromise. Get the great looks your car deserves and all the features you want in a stereo system today. Just use the drop down to find the right unit for your car, or even a universal radio if you're building a street rod or a custom car. Cruising is better with music, and music is better and better looking with a stereo from CustomAutosound.com. So run to the web, type that in, and find the unit that is right for you. But don't run just yet, because we've got more Motorhead Garage presented by Dragonfire Tools coming up. Stay tuned.
Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com, coming to you from the Campbell's Custom Care Studio.
Thanks for joining us here at Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonfireTools.com. We're talking about paint chips, and I know if you're like me, one little paint chip is going to keep you up nights, because you know it's going to mean a costly trip to the shop. It's going to be in for weeks, but that's not really the way anymore. Thanks to Cozmo Recon. How is Cozmo Recon different from the other systems out there, Zach?
It's a very good question. So the number one thing that stands out with our system is our color matching system. With this system, we can match over 8,000 colors and variants and match any color of car with a simple color code that you find on the side of the door jamb. We're able to make multiple different amounts with this, and we can convert it from an acrylic to a urethane and also make a single stage color for spot blends and other repairs.
8,000 different colors. That's amazing.
8,000.
I've seen other ones out there that have prescribed colors. You can only get what they're selling.
Right.
So you can mix any variation here.
Exactly.
What's the process like to make those mixes?
Once you find the color code from your vehicle, you're going to go to our color database system. You're going to put it in, and it'll give you multiple different variants for that color. You're going to come to your bottles here, and they each have a specific color code right up on the top. What we are going to do with that is follow the recipe, as we call it, and it's going to give you the different way out to each individual color to get your exact color match.
And we're going to see two different processes here. First of all, this brand new car over here, you put a big gouge in the side of it. We all gasped when you did it, and you made a fix to that. We'll talk about that process in a second. First, let's talk about paint reconditioning here, Lindsay. This process is used for these little chips and things we saw when this vehicle came in here. It's the sandblasting on the front of it. How does this process work?
So this is a little bit different than traditional touch-up where you just dab the big spots that you would see. This process actually fills in about 90–95% of all the rock chips. It's a multi-step process that you get to achieve filling in the smaller chips as well as the bigger chips.
What are the steps then?
You prep the surface, and then you use an applicator pad and you rub in and fill the chips, and then you just take our erase seal and remove it, and anything that's on the clear coat will be erased.
So I kind of liken this to grout, where you grout over the whole thing and it fills in all the cracks and all the holes in this case.
Exactly.
Now, this isn't your full-time job. You're not an automotive person.
Yeah, I work in the office.
So you're not a body person. You were able to make this look this good. How long did it take you to learn this technique?
To be quite honest with you, I've probably done a handful of cars throughout my time with Cozmo Recon, just as demonstrational purposes, and it's really easy to learn and to do.
That's a process you can do at home, but here's one that's a little more complicated. Zach, how did you get the scratch out of there using smart repair technology?
So there's a couple of different ways that we can go about this. When we started off, we just simply grinded through the scratch. Depending on how deep that scratch is, we can use multiple different fillers that we supply with the kit to take care of that. Things like body filler, glaze, and things like that, depending on how deep that gouge is. So once we grind that out and level that out, we're going to give it a simple primer and give out the primer and cover any imperfections or any naked metal or plastic to make sure that our paint adheres to the surface.
And we should mention you did mask it because we did an entire panel here. In other cases, you want to actually feather that and blend this into other spots, but it lends itself to masking here.
Right, exactly. So once we lay down the primer, we're going to go to the next steps of we go to our color matching system, match our color.
And with your system, how accurate do you find the paint
paint to be matched?
You know, with our system, I like to say we're at a 95% plus. There always are variants to a color. If you have your car in certain extreme hot desert areas, you can see fading in your paint surface over the years. So when we are painting and matching that color, we do have technology to be able to match that age of that vehicle.
You lay the base coat down with the paint, and then it's time for the clear coat to finish it off.
Right.
How many coats of that?
So it's simply going to go into 2 medium coats of clear coat. The clear coat that we offer with the kit is a speed clear, and it is dry within 5 minutes.
How does this compare to something you have done at a professional body shop?
It's very similar. They're going to go through much more procedures. They would be taking off the lights. They could possibly even take off this panel to prep this area. We do it right there on the vehicle. It is simple masking around the edges and making sure we get edge to edge, and we can do that without all those high-end expenses that a body shop comes along with.
All right, as we finish pulling the masking off, that is amazing how that panel blends with the other. You can't even tell the difference. Very, very cool. Now, who are the businesses that are adding this to their repertoire?
Now, we have a lot of different clients. We have a lot of dealerships that want to take this type of service in-house. We have a lot of ceramic coating guys that before we ceramic coat it, we want to do the paint reconditioning and paint repair before we lay a hard shell over. The clear bra guys that are out there, even to the hobbyist that's in a garage.
Well, if you want to add paint repair like this to what your company can do for folks, go to CozmoRecon.com.
We'll be right back with more Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com, so leave it right here.
The first steam-powered road-going vehicle was invented in 1769, and steam power remained popular for another 150 years. Early steam engines had boilers that had to be lit by hand and took about 20 minutes to build up pressure. Furthermore, steam-powered cars only had about a 30-minute supply of water on board. A far cry from the high-tech cars that we drive today. Motorhead Garage, presented by DragonFireTools.com. Industrial workbenches with integrated tool storage. And brought to you by PaintedAutoBodyParts.com, the leading U.S. auto body parts online store. Dynabrade, the first choice for abrasive power tools today and tomorrow. And by Custom Autosound, the originator of classic car OEM fit radios since 1977.
Now your VIN, vehicle identification number, can tell you a lot about your vehicle. Welcome to this AMSOIL Tech Tip. Yep, we're talking about the VIN. Where's it located? Well, it can either be through the driver's side window dashboard there, you can look through and see it, or in the door jamb. But there's a lot to it. There's a lot going on in the VIN. You can see it all starts over here, but there's 2 places I want to look at. The 8-digit, that's the engine type that's important. You could have a 3.4 dual overhead cam, or you can have a 3.4 cam and block. So you want to look there to decipher what your engine is, and the 10th digit represents the year. And you can see here your 10th digit can go all the way through the alphabet numerically and start all over again. And you can tell exactly what year it is. But Len, AMSOIL made it even easier. Can you navigate and show us about our specific vehicle?
We sure can. Let's pick a vehicle here today. We'll just take a look. Let's just pick a random popular vehicle because we've got a tab right on our website. You click on it, it's going to ask you to enter the vehicle. So you could put in anything from a light truck, a car, motorcycles, ATV, UTV. We've got it all on there. So for today's purposes, we'll pick an auto, a light truck. Let's pick a later model. How about a 19? We'll pick a Chevy. And then we'll go ahead and let's pick a pickup truck with a 5.3 liter engine. And what'll happen is it actually pulls up the entire product line for this vehicle. So any of the oils that'll work, it has the quantities available, and then it also allows you to build a kit. So we've got a virtual kit there as well. So if you want a filter, you want the right amount of oil, you just click kit.
Now this is huge, so we're not going back and forth to the auto parts store. Oh, I forgot this, I forgot that. Everything's there. What's actually located in the kit?
The kit will contain all the oil it needs, so you pick the type of oil that you want from our Signature Series, our high mileage oil, any one of the oils you can pick that works in this vehicle. You go ahead and click on it. The filter, everything is there that you need. Now, if you want to go further, you can click on the transmission, and we can find out what transmission it has. what products that we're looking for, and you can add it to your cart right from there. Very simple. Scroll a little bit further. Well, what do you know? There's your differential that pops up. Transfer case, it's all there. We figured make it as easy as you possibly can to get that product in the customer's hands.
Wow, bam, just that easy. You go to amsoil.com and try it out for yourself.
Lee McCown of Castlewood, Virginia is our paintedautoparts.com Motorhead of the Week, and Lee is a hero in my book, well, anybody's book for that matter. He's a disabled Afghanistan veteran and is a 31-year veteran police officer. Now, Lee says working on cars is therapeutic, and he tells us his love for old hot rods was embedded in his soul from the day he was born. Those are his words. Lee says he's only been able to work on his cars for a few hours here and there, but I'd say he's done quite well considering that. Just check out what's in Lee's garage here. The car that's closest to being finished, it's this great-looking 1967 Camaro SS RS 396. There's a 1926 Model T, a 1957 3200 pickup truck, a 68 C10 step-side truck, and a 1986 IROC Z28. And we can't neglect the 2003 Corvette Z06. It only has 30,000 miles on it. Can you believe that? Lee's about ready to do the cam and exhaust for a little extra punch. Thank you so much for your selfless service, Lee McCown. We are proud to make you our paintedautoparts.com Motorhead of the Week. Lee reached out to us at motorheadgarage.tv, and you can do the same. Just tell us why you or someone you know should be our Motorhead of the Week. Look, you don't have to be a collector. You don't have to be a mechanic. You just have to love things that go. And oh, by the way, we've got to go, but we're going to have another episode of Motorhead Garage presented by DragonFireTools.com next week. We hope you join us then. Drive safely.